Hello and welcome to the Sound Test Room. My name is Jakob, I'm your host and you're watching a haQ attaQ special. I recently published an interview with Max Sokoleski where he's talking about his modular-based studio and also his workflow. The guy is a genius when it comes to setting up his workspace for straight up creative sessions without having to reach around wondering what to do. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you go watch it. When doing these interviews, you see, I've done 2 other video interviews in the past. You always get more material than you can use, and sometimes you have to cut things out just to keep the video short. Well, I simply had to post this. In this video, Max is talking about collaborations and the way he organizes it by brilliantly using the app called Wunderlist. Max collaborates with quite a few groups, Delay Kliniken, a Swedish band, Skylog and Tiny Disco. So there's a lot of things to think about when you're doing that. So take it away, Max.
Well, first and foremost, I need collaborations because if I'm left to my own devices, I'll just go into soundscapes and stuff. So I work with fantastic musicians, very, very talented people. We throw things at each other. We call it prototypes, a song base, something that goes around. And then I bring in a vocalist into the studio, record that, cut it as much as possible, throw it back at my friend. He starts to put it into context, into the song. We just take out the good parts, we cherry pick. When that is done and it's tuned and everything, I get it back and then the processing starts. All kinds of vocal processing and effects processing. But I also get MIDI files, which is tremendously fun. Then I take whatever synth I prefer and then the iPad comes into play because there's a lot of good synths there. And the MIDI file gets played up from the iPad back into the modular and I record that and throw it back. So what my friend gets is layers of sounds. They filter it to fit into the song and then I maybe get something else back. Practical stuff is handled with a little application. Again, an app. It's called Wunderlist. So we share and I listen for what needs to be done and I write stuff down and they see it. Ding! Max wrote something. That kick drum needs to be higher, lower. We need to pan this and we need to make some, this is a weird word, but wet sounds, because the dry sounds are made. So I make the wet sounds, which is the next layer. So you have a thin lead line, but it needs some beef, it needs some size, it needs some omniosity, some width. And then I send them 3 or 4 versions of this, which we can layer and make bigger in all dimensions and deeper with a lot of reverb, but the dry sound is in front, so you can make, yes.
Where does it all end up after this, all this processing, all this sending back and forth? Where does it end up? Who mixes it? Who masters it?
I'm part of 4 different projects. The first project is already out. It's called Delay Kliniken. 1 record came out. And it's already out on a label called Progress Productions, Gothenburg label. And they released it in November last year. So there's another 2 albums coming out and those are a little bit unknown yet, but they're getting done and shaped and that was a mean ant. Mastering is done also in Gothenburg. That last time with Delay Kliniken and these other projects are unknown yet and there's some fantastic music coming out there. Aim is in autumn or in winter this year and in the beginning of next year for releases. We will see exactly when and where that will be released. Yeah.
Again, I want to thank Max Sokoleski for doing this entire interview and giving me so much good stuff to post on my channel. Now, as I said in the beginning, if you haven't watched the entire interview with Max Sokoleski, where he talks about his modular-based studio and also how he optimizes his workflow, then I suggest you go click on this card right up here and go watch that video. As usual, Doug Woods, Colin Sweeney, and me, Jakob at thesoundtestroom.com wishes you a very productive week. Now, go finger your stuff and have a lot of fun doing it.